It's being described as an impossibly tangled knot. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe getting tougher on trade with South Korea, both sides separated by history. With a British journalist's interpretation of Abe's moves, I'm Alex Jensen for North Korea Now. Over the time I've been in Seoul, I've seen the Japan relationship go from bad to fair to worse, especially now economic ties are being affected. The common thread across the South's recent administrations has been Abe himself, a man who's said to be in legacy mode, determined to revise Japan's pacifist constitution before he leaves office as the country's longest-serving Prime Minister. And that goal of militarization worries onlookers here in Seoul, because of the feeling he hasn't acknowledged the pain Tokyo's military expansion caused during the last century, even if, of course, Japan also suffered a horrendous World War II defeat. And Abe's stance quite clearly stems from national pride and his family background. I recall his 2013 visit to the Yasukuni Shrine, a decision that was criticized because critics claim it glorifies Japan's imperial aggression. Abe seems very uncomfortable with this framing of Japan's past, perhaps due to being the grandson of former Japanese Prime Minister Nobusuke Kishi. Actually, uncomfortable is putting it mildly. Abe previously stated that he felt strong repulsion when some people used to point to his grandfather as a Class A war criminal suspect. Abe's revisionist tendency was lambasted by American media in 2007 after he denied that Imperial Japan forced women to serve as military sex slaves. Considering so many thousands of comfort women came from Korea, that is one of the sorest points of contention here. It was a surprise when Abe expressed his most sincere apologies and remorse as part of a 2015 agreement with South Korea's Park Geun-hye administration. Now, this is important because Park Geun-hye ended up being expelled from office, and her successor, Jae-in, ended up effectively cancelling the so-called Comfort Women deal by dissolving its associated fund. Perhaps Moon might have found a way to compromise, but the South Korean people were livid with the agreement. Abe had not delivered the apology himself, the victims had not been consulted, and there was an overwhelming sense of insincerity, from the Japanese insistence on the agreement being irreversible to Tokyo's request to remove a statue outside its Seoul embassy commemorating comfort women. The collapse of the deal signaled the demise of ties, and we've seen plenty of signs that the relationship was going to get even worse, not least due to Japan's anger with a Supreme Court ruling here last year ordering Japanese firms to compensate Korean victims of colonial-era forced labor. Abe seems to have been emboldened by the strength of his relationship with US President Donald Trump, under whom economic weapons have almost been normalized. Abe says he can't trust Seoul. It's true that sex slavery deal was broken, while Japan also leans on a 1965 treaty normalizing ties with South Korea, but that doesn't excuse hiding from history or putting national pride before the dignity of victims.